1, 2, check, check. Check, check, 1, 2. One, two. One, two, one. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check. I am light. I am the divinity unfined. I'm not my age. I'm not my race. The spirit inside. I am light. light, I am a light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I am not mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside. I am light. Is a light. It is a light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light. Thank you, Claudia. Starts with you. Do you believe it? It's all in the way you choose to see it. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Check, check, 1, 2. Leading you to a new direction if you change. change, change. Change. Watch me change if you change the way you look at things. The things you look at change when you change the way you look at things. The things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take. Bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life and love your dreams. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. And I am light, I am light. And I am light, I am light. I am the divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, I am a piece of it. I am light, I am light. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the things my family wounded. I am not the broken pieces of the darkness inside. I am light. Morning, Bobby. Good morning. Very good. How you doing? Yep. Always.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Including everybody online. This is my first time here. Joanne, my wife, broke a wrist on Monday afternoon, so I'm filling in. It's my first time on platform.
Yeah, and he's going to do a great job.
So I'm hosting today with Linda, our very own.
Thank you. Here at Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor, we draw upon the universal wisdom found at the heart of all the world's religions and offer a spiritually progressive, socially responsive, and radically inclusive approach to life that is as practical as it is mystical. We come together to encourage and support one another in our individual spiritual journeys. Wherever you are in that process, we are glad you joined us today.
And we have a one-man music team, our own Adam Bergman. So happy to have you here, Adam.
Thank you.
Now we have opening prayer. I hold the world and all beings in the light of peace and love. Managing my thoughts, I choose compassion. Measuring my words, I choose encouragement. Preparing my actions, I choose kindness. My thoughts, words, and actions create a space for peace and love. I create all is well. Thanks.
Thank you. That was great. Our prayer chaplain today is Sean Sharkey. Is Sean here today? Don't see him, but maybe he'll be here by the end of the service. We'll just wait and see.
We have a prayer request box out front here, and there's prayer request forms. And I'm going to put one in for Joanne. So I encourage you to participate, and anybody have any prayer requests, our prayer request team will hold them for how long, Linda?
30 days.
And then they go to Silent Unity.
That's right, yeah. I would like to remind you also that online 24/7, there is prayer support with Silent Unity. The phone number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY. 1-800-NOW-PRAY if you need any support.
So now's the time for some music. Adam, what do you have for us today?
Good morning, everyone. If you do please rise on this beautiful Sunday, last Sunday of April. We're almost at May. Didn't have too many April showers, so let's see if we get all the May flowers. Here at Unity, a huge part of what we feel and we believe is the power of our mind and perception, and everything comes down to the way that you look and perceive things. So remember always, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So let's start with change the way. Where do you want to go? You'll get what you want if you act as you know. It starts with you. Do you believe it? It's all in the way that you choose to see it. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 do. When you feel lost and you can't find your way, keep your eye on the prize. It will materialize. You can't miss it. Change your perception, leading you to a new direction. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change change. You can do it. Change change. It's a sure thing. Change change. Expect a miracle change. Watch me change. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 do. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Welcome to this beautiful Sunday morning here at Unity, last Sunday of April, right before we get to May. Everything's about perception, and it's also reminding ourselves how beautiful and awe-inspiring and amazing this entire experience is. And sometimes you have to pinch yourself over how beautiful and amazing it is. So let's sing about that this morning. Let's do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life and love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when, or where, or how. You don't have to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometime deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. 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 Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Unity teaches that each person is a unique individual expression of God, and that we create our experience of life according to the thoughts and feelings we hold in mind and heart.
Unity was founded on prayer. We believe and teach that affirmative prayer and meditation changes us by raising our consciousness and helping us realize our connection with the divine and the truth of who we are.
So our affirmation for April is, divine wisdom flows through me effortlessly, illuminating my path with clarity and purpose. So I'd like you to join me in creating that for yourself and all of us right now. Divine wisdom flows through me effortlessly, illuminating my path with clarity and purpose.
And now Adam's got a song for us, And I think this song is one of the most beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Again, good morning, everyone. So nice to be these spring days with all this beautiful light coming in, and it's golden in the morning. So I was really centered this morning to just reflect on this song and the power of all of us being able to be light for others and light for ourselves at any given moment. So this is a classic. This is a beautiful song. This is I Am Light by India Airy. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am I am not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of a dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light, is all light, is all light, is all light. It is all light, it is all light. I am the divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks, Adam. I got to remember to hold the microphone at the right place. I'm happy to welcome back today's speaker, Lisa Gottlieb. And Lisa is the founder and director of Compassionate Communication of Ann Arbor. And she was here a little while ago, and I loved your talk, Lisa, and the workshop after. So Lisa's also a nonviolent communication certified trainer for the Center for Nonviolent Communication. Also, Lisa coaches and trains individuals, couples, educators, and small business owners through the lens of compassionate communication. Lisa's talk title today is Growing Peace, Listening and Speaking with Compassionate Communication. So I think we could all use more of that, so let's give Lisa a great big welcome.
Thanks for that warm welcome.
Thanks for being here.
It's really nice to be back. I was trying to remember the last time I was here, and I actually couldn't remember. I was thinking it was fall maybe, but my memory's not great for that kind of stuff.
It's a good thing it's not important.
Yeah, it was important at the border when the border guard asked me how often I come here for church. And I was like, well, a couple times a year. Don't remember when. It was okay. So last time I was here, the talk that I gave was a combination of kind of interview questions, which was helpful to me instead of speaking extemporaneously about NVC, nonviolent communication, which I can do for hours to the point where you'd probably be very, very sleepy. So I thought Bob and I might actually have a conversation about it. Before we start, one thing I would like to briefly talk about is why we call it nonviolent communication. Because a lot of people think, well, I'm not violent. I don't need nonviolent communication. And the reason it's called nonviolent communication and why some of us who are trainers call it compassionate communication is a way to move it from Eastern thought to Western thought. We're more comfortable often in the Western world talking about compassion than the Eastern world, which talks about nonviolence. Marshall Rosenberg, who founded nonviolent communication as we know it, studied Buddhism, and some of the tenets of Buddhism are framed in the negative. Don't lie, don't be violent, don't overdo it. Whereas we tend to talk about things like tell the truth, be kind, be moderate. And I was confused about this until someone explained to me that in the Buddhist thought, you might not be ready to tell the truth all the time. Okay, just stop lying. In the same way, you might not be ready to be moderate in all things, but maybe just stop overdoing it all the time. So it's the same with nonviolence. It's the idea of we can have violent thoughts, we can have violent ideas, we can have violent feelings, we can have violent actions. And if we can just start being a little more compassionate, that can help us all. So does anybody have any clarifying questions about that? Maybe just some nods that it makes sense now. Yeah, question in the back. You know, that's a great question. I'm not sure if everyone could hear it. The question was, well, what's compassion compared to other things that might be synonyms? What is it and what isn't it? And there's lots of different definitions and there's lots of ways people talk about it. Sometimes people say compassion and empathy are the same thing. Some people say that empathy is imagining what it's like to be someone else. Compassion is acting on that empathy. I'm not an expert wordsmith, so I would say there are lots of ways to look at it. I think it's a wonderful question because in the little seminar that I'm going to do after all of this, one of the exercises I do is to sort of put empathy in action. And one of the ways we do that is by talking about what isn't empathy. So we'll be doing that in very practical, interactive ways in the seminar. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Claudio has a question over here.
Yeah, Claudio. So I'm not going to reflect back what I heard because it was so much. I'm guessing that he spoke loud enough where everyone could hear what was being said. Yeah, great. So whether this is a metaphor or whether this is real life, what I'm interested in is what you take away from it. It sounds like your personal experience of this and maybe the experience of the church and the tenants makes sense for this. And we do know from brain science that when we're speaking, we don't, for example, if a child's running around and I say to the child, don't fall, the child doesn't hear the don't. What they hear is fall. So, which is why we often frame things in the positive, use good balance. If I say to you, don't think about a zebra, it's very difficult not to think about a zebra, but the brain turns that don't into zebra thinking. So I do believe that words are really meaningful and really matter, and the way we frame things, how we speak, how we communicate with each other is meaningful and lands in ways that can be beautiful and life-serving, or that can be painful and really get in the way of vitality. Yeah, I see a hand here. The question was, instead of saying don't fall, what would you say? I would say use good balance. Sure, yeah, mind where you're walking. Pay attention to where you're playing. I think there's lots of ways to frame things positively as opposed to the don't. You know, like don't hit the cat. Use a gentle touch with the cat.
Lisa, I have a question over here.
Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yes, instead of focusing on what not to do, focus on what you'd like more of. And this is a tenet in nonviolent communication. Look, I study brain science. I love brain science. And one of the things about our early human developing brains is that we learn to look for what's wrong, because we would not have survived living in caves if we weren't thinking about that rustling outside the cave door, that it might not be the wind, it might be a saber-toothed tiger, or those shiny red berries that look so delicious. If we don't remember that last time Fred ate them, he got terribly sick. So we don't want to eat those red berries. Our brains are geared towards this. If you see a car speeding down the road towards you, it's not helpful to stop and think much about what that car might be doing or not doing. We get ourselves off the road. So it does serve a purpose. The issue, though, is in interpersonal relationships, in our own transformational spiritual lives. Thinking positively and bringing positive energy and thoughts in seems to create a more meaningful, vital, beautiful life. Yeah? Yeah, other questions? Yes? Okay, I'm hearing some gratitude for me repeating the question, so people at home and even people maybe sitting in the back who can't hear as well are hearing the question. So thanks for naming that, yeah. Shall we go on, Bob, with our...
Yeah.
Oh, actually, Adam's got a question.
I did have one more question, and Bobby, sorry to, it was a great question. I just can't always see from here. I wanted to ask, within your own personal experience and within your work, is there anything you'd like to say and comment on when it comes to the relationship with the inner child?
Would you ask the question again, my relationship with?
Your inner child.
Oh, inner child.
And everyone's inner child in
Yes.
relation to all of your work personally and your professional work and study.
Yeah. Well, in addition to nonviolent communication, I was trained in relational life therapy. And in relational life therapy, there's a concept of the wounded child or the inner child, the adaptive child, and the wise adult. And I'll speak to it briefly. The inner child or the wounded child is that part of us that may have had experiences when we were infants or very small children, generally pre-verbally, that impacted us in ways that were very painful or injurious. Then there's the adaptive child, which is the child that feels overly responsible. Sometimes they're what's called being parentified, where their parents are maybe immature or underdeveloped or have other issues that prevent them from being what we might generally call a good or effective parent. And that child then develops habits that tend to be quite severe, rigid, very black and white. And then there's the wise adult, the part of us that when we're fully connected with ourselves and the universe and other people can operate in very positive ways. In internal family systems, which is a system of therapeutic work, it's the idea that we have many parts in us. And when we can integrate all those parts and hold them with loving kindness, we do a service to ourselves and others with whom we interact. One of the tenets of nonviolent communication is self-empathy, self-love, and self-kindness. That doesn't mean a pass for poor behavior or injurious behavior. It's holding people accountable with love and respect and dignity, offering empathy and the expectation that we're all in this together. So, Adam, does that answer your question? Yeah, okay. And then I think I saw a hand. Was there a hand back here before Adam spoke? Oh, yes, go ahead. Yeah, the question is about what we might call the inner critic, the part of us that is the internalized voice of criticism, blame, wrongness. And, you know, if a person grows up in a family system where the currency in the family is shame, blame, wrongness, and punishment, that voice can become internalized. And for some people, it's a huge motivating factor. It gets people up and active, but it's at such a terrible cost. So I do, in the talk afterwards, in the interactive workshop I'll be doing, we will be talking a lot about self-empathy and self-compassion, not as a pass, not as a spiritual bypass or a pass to be accountable, but a way to hold ourselves with loving kindness and responsibility for what we do or do not do. Does that answer your question? Great. Yeah, and a question here. No?
So,
okay. Bob, hi.
Unity teaches that we're, and a lot of other teachings, that we're human beings having a spiritual beings having a human experience. And it seems to me that Marshall Rosenberg that created this was a remarkable model of that. And I think of this when he was in, well, just his perception of changing an attack. How does he say a cry for help?
Yeah, Marshall Rosenberg, who founded Nonviolent Communication as we know it, used to say that every act of violence, and by violence he meant violent thought, violent words, every act of violence is a, give me a second, tragic example of an unmet universal human need. Because in NVC we believe that people act to fulfill their needs and that every human on the planet shares the same universal human needs. Struggle and conflict and difficulty come from the strategies we use, the methods we use to try and meet our needs. And that when we think of all humans having the same universal human needs for shelter, for food, for clothing, for medical care, for love, for acceptance, to be seen for our intentions, for shared reality, for fun and play. When we look at these universal human needs and we see that we are all the same, then we can find ways to have strategies that work for everyone. And it might seem kind of like a dream, like how do you do that? But nonviolent communication or compassionate communication teaches practical tools to do this. And this is what I love about it, is that there's this beautiful spiritual component. I'm a very practical person, and I'm pragmatic, and I like to show ways that you can start using compassionate communication right away in your daily life with yourself, with your loved ones, in community, across all areas, whether someone else knows NVC, nonviolent communication, or not.
So to paraphrase, it seems like any unloving action of mine or someone else's is actually a cry for love and the need to be loving someone else, like being of service.
I think that that's true. I also think that it's quite difficult for us to consider every human through their unmet needs. There are some people, groups, organizations that have done horrific things. And it's a massive stretch to have compassion and empathy for their unmet needs. Fortunately, we're not going to talk about that in today's interactive workshop. It's too big a topic. What we're going to be doing today is how to use nonviolent communication in your everyday life with your neighbors and your friends and your loved ones. Yeah.
How did you get involved?
Well, curiously, I got involved with nonviolent communication because my marriage was falling apart, and my husband was quite a difficult person, and he had a reputation for having difficult relationships. And several people said to him, you know, you might want to read Marshall Rosenberg's book, Nonviolent Communication, to help him with his interactions. And at that point, we were already separated. And I had gotten a master's degree in social work and had never heard of Marshall Rosenberg. It just never came up. And during the separation leading to the divorce, I had a few conversations with my ex-husband, and he was talking to me in a way I'd never heard before. And I was like, what is this that you're doing? It was really kind of remarkable. And he said, well, you know, these people told me I should read this book, and so I'm reading the book, and I'm trying to do this stuff that Marshall teaches, this compassionate communication. And I was really floored by that. And I read the book, and I looked into it, and I thought, oh, this is the work I want to do. I'd been a social worker for a long time, and I had been running a nonprofit food advocacy group with my husband at the time, and was ready to move on to something else. And this work really spoke to me, and so I started doing some deep dives into trainings, and realized right away I wanted to become a certified trainer. And that was about 10 years ago or so, maybe a little bit more. And my ex-husband sort of gave up. It was too hard for him. But I have to give him some credit that in the midst of this very difficult separation and divorce, I was gifted a connection with Marshall Rosenberg, which, you know, I'm incredibly grateful for today. So you just never know how things are going to work out. Yeah.
One quote I like of Marshall's is about, and I actually have it.
Oh, yes. I love this. This is about requests, and interestingly, because I was here before, I want to expand a little bit on what I did last time, and part of what I was going to do this time was about how to make effective requests, and the difference between requests and demands. And may I read this? Yeah, so Marshall was talking about how to make effective requests, and he says, please do as I requested, only if you can do so with the joy of a little child feeding a hungry duck. Please do not do as I request if there is any taint of fear of punishment if you don't. Please do not do as I request to buy my love, that is hoping that I will love you more if you do. And he goes on to say, you know, please do not say yes if you're worried, if this is about coercion, or if there's some kind of demand, or you're worried about me withholding my love from you. Requests are the beginnings of a connection between two people or groups of people to work together to find solutions that work for everyone. You know, Marshall used to say this thing about compromise, which most of us are trained to do growing up. We learn to compromise. Marshall said, oh yeah, compromise, the solution where everyone is equally miserable. We're laughing because we know what that feels like, right? You give something up with the hope that you get a little something. Marshall did not believe in compromise. Marshall believed in a shift, an energetic quality shift where suddenly I can see the other person through their needs, and I can connect with them through my own matching needs, these universal human needs. And once we do that, we see the other person in the light of their humanity. And once we see that other person in the light of their humanity, we meet them there. And we all know what happens when we dehumanize people. That's a terrific catastrophe that happens. So Marshall was really into humanization, making sure that we don't other anyone, that we are much more alike than we are different. So in my interactive workshop after all of this, we'll talk about how to make effective requests, and you'll realize generally the requests you make are vague and unmeasurable. So I'm going to help you get them to be specific and really measurable. So the other person knows what you want and can be direct whether they can meet you where you are or not. It's also the beginning of a negotiation. It's not the end all. So thanks for bringing that up. It leads into some of what my plan is today.
I find it interesting that Marshall grew up in Detroit, actually.
Yes, he actually came to Detroit in 1948, right before the 1948 race riots. And Marshall was Jewish, and he was treated really poorly because of his Judaism. There was a lot of bias, and there was violence done to him as a teenager because of this. And he became fascinated with what separates people. And he went on to get different degrees in humanistic psychology. He was a psychologist for a long time, a practicing psychologist. And I love that the reason he quit was because the paperwork began to overwhelm him. And as a school social worker, I could really relate to that. I loved working with my students, and I loved working with the staff, but the paperwork just became overwhelming. And then he studied Buddhism. He took a deep dive into Buddhism, so a lot of the nonviolent communication work has some roots in Buddhism as well. But yeah, he was a Detroiter.
I'm hoping you recall, there was a story that impresses me about him going to a refugee camp as an American. Are you familiar?
Well, he did a lot of work with warring groups. And typically what would happen is they would be very, very resistant to his work. He worked with Israelis and Palestinians. He worked with lots of different warring parties. And everyone hated him equally, which sort of bonded them together in a weird way. But what he would do over and over again is he would help each side humanize the other by focusing on these universal human needs, that the matriarch of one family wanted safety and health and love and freedom for her child, and the matriarch of the other warring family wanted exactly the same thing. And when they could see each other as mothers of children who were much more the same than they were different, that was the beginning of understanding. Also that they could equally hate him and make him wrong and bad seemed to create some connection. But that would typically shift, and they would be really grateful for him eventually because of his skills.
Yeah, when I recall, he was in a camp, and as an American, and who he represented was who they hated. And he just provided a space. Instead of defending himself or anything like that, he just allowed a space for them to communicate. He actually introduced how he felt they would feel, which gave them a space to own it, and he wound up being invited for dinner.
Yeah, one of the tenets of nonviolent communication is the space to let people feel whatever they're feeling. There's sometimes a thought that in nonviolent communication, there's no room for anger or rage or disappointment or frustration. That's not true at all. In nonviolent communication, every feeling is valuable and deserves attention. The difference between NVC and, say, a therapeutic approach is that in NVC, you stay in the feelings long enough to feel them, sensations, emotions, for mourning or for celebration, if it's something positive. And then once you're there, instead of going into a rabbit hole of despair or frustration, the person has the opportunity to look at what needs are calling for attention, what universal needs are calling for attention. And then once the person knows what those needs are, they can come up with strategies to find them. So there's nothing wrong with feelings and big feelings, angry feelings, rage, frustration, sadness. The key is enough self-regulation, self-calming, to be very thoughtful and choiceful about what actions a person wants to take. So the way I teach NVC is with a lot of meditation and ways to self-soothe. And by self-soothe, I mean self-regulate, self-calm. How many of you are familiar with talking about getting triggered by something? It's a common way of talking about becoming upset, getting triggered, getting activated, getting agitated. And usually it has a physical form. And what happens is our amygdala, the part of our brain that controls the nervous system, basically gets hijacked. And one of the ways we come back to the frontal lobe, which is the seat of reason and impulse control and language and thoughtfulness, is by thinking of our feelings and thinking of our needs. Those are words. And so NVC has this beautiful quality of being able to self-regulate, to move from a nervous system hijack of being triggered to come back to the present moment. So I wonder if that might be a good place to close, to move into a little meditation.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. I was invited to lead you into a very brief meditation to close. And so I would like to invite you to shift from this external landscape of talking and intellect to what I might call the internal landscape of your own body, your own emotional body, your own physical body and sense of self. So if you're comfortable to close your eyes or soften your gaze and settle into your seating position, whether you're here in this space in the building or you're at home listening, if you can feel your back body against the chair or couch or whatever seat you're in. Just feel your back body pressed against the back of what's supporting you. And take a moment and, if it's possible, place your feet on the floor. And just notice that sensation of your feet making contact with the earth. Imagining the earth coming up, putting your feet resting on the earth. And take a moment and lengthen your spine, imagining that your spine is reaching up towards the sky, the beautiful blue sky with the warm sun. And let your hands rest wherever they're comfortable. Bring your attention to your breath. Just noticing the gentle inhalation and gentle exhalation. Perhaps noticing the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils, the slightly warmer air as it leaves your body. And on your next inhalation and exhalation, Imagine yourself breathing into sensation, noticing all the parts of your body, and exhaling into a sense of calm, peace, self-connection. And continue at your own pace with these gentle inhalations and exhalations. Breathing into sensation and exhaling into whatever your body, mind, and emotional body and spirit are calling for. Whether it's peace, calm, connection with spirit, connection with self, connection with community. Take a few more cycles of breath, feeling your chest, shoulders, back body expand on the inhalation. Feeling your hands, feet, pelvic floor, and back settle into the chair as you exhale. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes, coming back into the room, wherever you are, whether you're physically in this room or the room in which you are sitting currently. And take a moment to just think of a small thing that you're grateful for as we bring this meditation to a close and you come fully back into the present moment. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you coming here and sharing with us. More tools on living our human experience as spiritual beings. And thank you, Adam, for wonderful music. And thank you, Claudio, for handling our video and audio.
Well, we have a lot to be grateful for here. I'm just so glad you're here. And poor Joanne, I hope she's feeling a little better. She's probably watching you on Facebook.
I'm doing my best to help.
Yeah. At this time, let us take to heart our vision, mission, and statement of being, which is shown on the screen.
So we have a global vision. Will you please create it with me? Our vision
is a
world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And we have a sacred mission. Will you say that with me? We inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world.
We have a personal statement of being. Will you please say that with me?
I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. And we have some announcements today. Remember, additional information about these and other classes and events can be found in our newsletter and on our Unity Spiritual Center website.
And Lisa Gottlieb will be facilitating a workshop today from 12:30 to 2:30 right here in the chapel. Lisa will teach us more about growing peace, listening and speaking with compassionate communication, part 2. So please sign up upstairs in the fellowship area on the second floor. Suggested love offering of $20, but no one has ever turned away, so please join us.
Tomorrow, Monday, April 28th, Our own Tammy Malosh will be facilitating a Divine Feminine Sacred Circle women's group from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the Hospitality Fellowship Room on the second floor.
And Devani has given us some free online yoga for the month of April. So there's 2 days left, Monday and Tuesday. So you can do it from the comfort of your own home. To get the Zoom link, email Devani or ask her to send you the link to the website. So don't miss a wonderful opportunity to embrace spring with yoga.
Claudio Silvaggi and Jim Phillips are facilitating a 7-week online Egyptian Mystics online spirit group, which commenced on Wednesday, April 9th, and will continue until Wednesday, May 21st. Go to our website for more details, or you can talk to Claudio personally upstairs in the fellowship room. And Claudio's here. He's working over on the tech stuff, so you know who he is.
And Susan Resky facilitates emotional freedom techniques, EFT, online on a group every Thursday from 2 to 4. And you can contact Susan directly to get details, and her number's up on the screen.
Next Sunday, May 4th, in the Chapel Sanctuary, Reverend David Old will be speaker, and his talk title will be From Struggle to Spiritual Mastery. I'll do this one.
Also Sunday in the Chapel Sanctuary, Nelson Ing, right over here, will be facilitating a monthly drumming circle gathering. And just for next Sunday, the times change from noon to 1. Also, Linda, Moments in Time Art Show is coming up, and you, along with your friend Sandra Menard,
Yeah,
will be having your own Moments in Time Art Show
yeah.
at the Gibson Gallery.
We had to have a theme. Moments in
Sounds
time, you know.
So that's in Amherstburg, 140 Richmond Street from 11 to 5. And a reception to meet the artists will be held on Sunday, May 4th from 1 to 3.
Yeah, so that's next Sunday, the 4th, yeah. So anybody who wants to come, there's food.
So come on out after the drumming circle.
Yeah. On the first Wednesday of every month, Reverend David Old facilitates an in-person gathering to explore what it means to be awake. The gathering is held from 6:30 to 8 o'clock in the classroom on the second floor.
And Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service to others. So therefore, come on out and find yourself by volunteering for hospitality committee or the welcoming committee. It's about a half an hour a month. See Reverend David, Claudio, or Maria if you're interested.
As a reminder, our prayer chaplain is Sean Sharkey. There he is, right over there with his hand up. Thank you, Sean, for coming today. And he's available upstairs. There's a little room right there beside the kitchen. Okay, thank you, Sean.
All of our classes, programs, and services are made possible through generous donations of your time, talent, and treasure. So we're deeply grateful to each of you for your contributions and financial support, and they can be made in various ways, which you're aware of.
Donating is simple, so I'll just talk about that a little bit. Visit our website to explore the many easy ways we've created for you to contribute, or use the donation box located at the chapel entrance from the foyer. Thank you for your prayers, love, time, presence, service, and support. We thank you very much. Without you, how would it be possible?
So we invite you to stand up. Let's open our hearts and minds in gratitude as we close by speaking out loud or silently to ourselves our love offering prayer, followed by this little light of mine, and closing with a prayer of protection.
Divine love, in me and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. All in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. All in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All in this room, I'm gonna let it shine. All in this room, I'm gonna let it shine. All in this room, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. That was great. The light of the love surrounds us.
We are light.
The love of the divine enfolds us.
We are love.
The peace of love fills us.
We are peace.
The power of love protects us.
We are power.
The presence of love watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, love is. All is divine. And you truly are, as Reverend David would say. Thank you for being here, everyone, and please come upstairs and join us for coffee and tea and cookies.
Who spoke last night? Group hug.
That was fun talking to you guys.
I was at the keyboard.
Were you doing two-part venture?
I was page 2. I'm on page 2. So. Yeah. I thought you played every day.
You didn't do your
How did you get so good?
You're a teacher. You're a teacher?
Yeah,
And you didn't do your homework.
I did do my homework.
It's terrible. You know what happens?
You know what? It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, that was nice talking to you. And I've got your phone number now. I got it from
No, just your number.
Okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I finished the bar, and I thought, all right,
It's
I'll
a
answer.
friendly number.
It is.
Yeah,
I'll
good
sit.
thought.
Yeah, I'll sit. Lovely to see you.
Yeah.
you, Linda. Are you doing anything for the workshop?